Hey friends, if your December already feels like a lot, we've got your back. We made a free, Joyful on Purpose holiday guide to help you figure out what actually brings you joy and what you can totally let go of. It's simple, grounding, and honestly, kind of a breath of fresh air. Sign up for our newsletter to download it. The link is in the show notes, or you can go to chasingbrighter.com to get your free guide.
Welcome to the Chasing Brighter podcast, the podcast created as a guide to make midlife the best life.
Are you ready to embrace the next chapter of your life with confidence and excitement? Your best life is just a listen away. Welcome back. Today, we are talking about connection, how you feel it, protect it, and create it during a season that can feel really complicated.
There is so much pressure this time of year to be joyful and social, but the truth is December can highlight loneliness, grief, or unresolved tension. And let's explore a little bit why connection feels harder in December. This time of year, our nervous system is overstimulated. There are more demands on our time, more sensory overload from crowds, lights, noise, more decisions to make. And this unspoken pressure to make everything magical. Our brain is taking in way more information than usual, and our body is carrying all the emotional expectations that come with who you're seeing, what you're hosting, how you're showing up. It's a lot for one system to hold.
And then add family dynamics to the mix, and it can all feel like someone hits a rewind button on your emotional age. You can be 45 years old with a mortgage and kids and a career, and suddenly you're back in the role you played at 12. The peacekeeper, the responsible one. Maybe it's the quiet one. Maybe it's the helper. Those old roles are really powerful. And the holidays have a way of bringing them back to the surface. I just finished the memoir of Viola Davis, which was incredible.
I want to read it.
And she talks about, you read it?
I know I said I want to read it.
It's so good. And I didn't realize it actually won an Audible award.
It did it. I follow her on social, and I love her so much.
Anyway, she says in the book this one time where Will Smith was like, "Who are you? Who are you?" And he was like, "I'm still this 10-year-old boy, blah, blah, blah." And she said, I'm still an 8-year-old girl with blah, 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 blah. She talked through it. And I was like, that's kind of interesting, like talking about how you fall back into those roles around family or who you are. And so, I'm really excited to get into this topic.
Well, and I think about our cousin Sophia Lyon that talked about internal family systems theory, and that was really helpful for her. And that is what for 2026, I want to take a training on internal family systems theory. I just find it so fascinating. Like, you're right. We have these roles from childhood that sometimes we play on, especially if we're interacting with family more regularly, but they can play out in all kinds of relationships too. So exactly, Kelly, our bodies remember patterns even when our minds have outgrown them. That's why it's so important to notice when you're reaching from an old version of yourself and to gently remind your nervous system that you're safe and you're capable now. So let's offer grounded ways to build connection. We think it's important that you choose small, meaningful interactions. Instead of trying to have a big or a perfect holiday or these big moments, choose tiny pockets of connection that feel genuine. For example, you're at a holiday gathering, and instead of working the whole room, what if you just sit next to one person that you care about and ask them about something they're excited for in the new year? We've talked a lot over the years about intentional questions and conversations.
Yeah.
Just 5 minutes of focused attention can really create real connection.
Maybe you text someone a compliment. This is a simple, fast, and can be surprisingly impactful. You can say something like, "Hey, I saw your post about the project you finished. I'm really proud of you. You're doing amazing things." Or maybe it's a text, "Hey, I just wanted to tell you, I admire how grounded you've been this season. You inspire me." This takes 10 seconds, and it can really completely shift someone's day. And it's a really great way to stay connected. I know I'm so busy. I don't get a chance to talk to friends all the time. I think it's a really thoughtful way to just reach out to keep keep those connections going. It's saying something kind aloud. We think kind things all the time, and we just forget to speak about them.
Totally.
So, another example is maybe you're checking out at the store and you can say to the associate, "You've been so patient. I know you've probably been so busy today, but you're doing a really great job." Or maybe you're telling your spouse, "Hey, I appreciated how supportive you are, and how supported I feel with you. Thank you for being my person." So these are just small spoken gratitudes that build connection immediately. Whether you're maybe asking somebody how they're doing, people often hide under the surface during the holidays and they have a hard time kind of getting there. But you might notice a friend who seems a little overwhelmed and you can gently say, like, "How's your heart?" Not the holiday answer, the real answer. Or maybe you're at a holiday gathering and you just ask somebody, like, what's been the most surprising or meaningful part of the month or even the year as we wind down 2025. But these are all different questions that kind of open doors without pressure and get somebody talking. Sometimes just getting it out and having that connection can be very impactful.
Yeah. So just having those small texts, small moments. And that brings us to boundaries. We've been saying this for years. You don't have to attend every holiday gathering. You don't have to stay the whole time. You don't have to tolerate disrespect. We don't have to explain our choices. Boundaries protect connection. They don't harm it.
Boundaries protect connection because they keep you honest, energized, and emotionally available, which is when the real connection becomes possible.
We want to give you some examples of some boundaries that you can set during the holidays. The first one is limiting your time at gatherings, right? So that boundary, you can say, "I can come, but I can only come for a couple hours." And this helps because it protects our energy and prevents overwhelm. Another example of a script: "Thanks for the invite. We'll be there from 3 to 5. We're keeping things simple this year and trying not to overbook ourselves."
You can also say no to extra events. Maybe it's declining an invitation without guilt or over-explaining. It helps because you get intentional about what truly matters to you. When you say yes to things you don't actually have the capacity for, resentment builds quietly in the background. And resentment is what erodes relationships, not boundaries. Boundaries let you show up with your heart instead of from a place of exhaustion. So an example is, "Thank you so much for thinking of us. We're keeping our December lighter this year, so we'll need to pass, but I hope you have the best time."
I love that.
I love that too.
Also, just a boundary can be protecting your morning or your evening downtime. You can let people know we don't schedule anything before 10 a.m. And this helps keep our nervous system grounded. Another example script: "Mornings are really important for our family, so we won't be doing early events. We can join later in the day."
Or, maybe it's simply setting conversation boundaries, something where you're redirecting or shutting down stressful topics. This helps because it prevents emotional spirals and protects your peace. An example of something like this could be "I'd rather not talk about put in the word, my relationship, politics today. Can we switch topics?" Or gently say, "Let's keep today light. How's everyone's week been?"
I really like that. That'll be a really helpful script this year for
Yes.
sure. Another thing, and this is why one of my boundaries is I need to be in my own car. So for Thanksgiving, our mom was talking about carpooling, and I was like, "Mom, I need to be able to leave." I get very anxious about big family gatherings, and so I get nervous about chaos or fighting or something. I don't know. So I want to be able to leave.
Well, also, if other people want to leave, I don't want to hold them up.
Yeah.
I agree.
And so that just brings us to, again, leaving if things get tense. So recognizing when an environment is no longer healthy for you and why you're doing that because it honors your emotional safety, because people aren't mind readers. And so when you communicate what you need, I need more time, less noise, a shorter visit, You're giving others a roadmap to having a healthier relationship with you. And so, hey, I'm going to step outside for some fresh air, or I'm going to head out, but thank you so much for having us. So those were all examples of boundaries. And then now we want to give you a little takeaway challenge.
This is what we're calling the 5 minutes of presence challenge. So you choose one person today, partner, child, friend, relative, and give them 5 minutes of undivided attention. No phone, no multitasking, just presence. Get that small dose and that deep impact.
That I think would be so great, right?
Yeah.
Like just give 5 minutes of undivided attention to somebody
I think it was last Thanksgiving, we went to Brian's family's house, and it was the last Thanksgiving that they were going to host because they moved to like a retirement community thing. Anyway, I sat next to Brian's aunt's friend, and it's this like elderly woman who has a hard time getting around, Rose. And we were sitting and we were playing left, right, center. We did a whole family game. And I was like, oh man, I'm sitting next to her. Like, I don't know how this is going to go. Cause she's kind of like a little bit of a older person that I don't feel like I have much in common with. And I was just asking her story,
Yeah.
and I had the best time with her.
Yeah.
And I think it's sometimes we forget about just asking people parts of their story, even if it's family. You think you know everybody, but you really don't. I mean, even your relatives, like, how was it for them in high school, when your kid's in high school right now, or just any of those things that really sort of like levels the playing field in conversations. It can be really meaningful.
Yeah, I like that example. We really hope that today's conversation reminds you that connection doesn't have to be big to be meaningful.
Yeah.
It's the tiny intentional moments, a text, a check-in, a shared laugh, a quiet cup of coffee with someone you love. That is what truly deepens relationships. You don't have to host the perfect gathering or show up everywhere, because small acts of presence create the most lasting impact.
And this season can really feel overwhelming or complicated. So we want you to know that you're not alone. But connection is a practice like anything else, and it's not a performance. So show up in ways that feel authentic for you, that are suitable for you. And that's enough. We all got to start somewhere. Next week, we're diving into another one of our favorite topics, which is holiday self-care that nourishes and not numbs. So be sure to check that out. We're talking about rituals, about truly restoring your energy, and how to recognize when you're slipping into behaviors of burnout. So, we want to share with you some simple practices to support your nervous system, especially during these busy months of the year. So we can't wait to be with you guys again.
See you next week.
Thanks for listening today. If you loved today's episode, share with a friend. Are you ready to chase brighter days ahead? Subscribe to Chasing Brighter now, and let's embark on this exciting journey together.